thanks to all the hardworking drivers across the U.S. from the Allen Lund Company.
My dad ran a truck stop. My grandpa was a trucker. My uncle was a mechanic. My great uncle, obviously, ran a truck parts repair and sales. Like, I didn't care what I did as long as it was around trucks.
Welcome to Trucking with OOIDA. I'm Ashley Blackford.
And I'm Scott Thompson.
And we just heard from Bryan Martin, the Bossman. He's
the Bossman,
better known as. We're going to have him on in a few minutes.
4-state trucks, Chrome Shop Mafia.
I would think he'd be a hard person not to know in the trucking world.
Trick My Truck, Guilty by Association Truck Show, which is coming up. In just a matter of weeks here, I guess, right?
End of September.
Yeah, September 25th for 3 days. So we're going to talk to him about a lot of things. We'll get him on the horn here in just a moment. I want to find out, you mentioned the Bossman. I want to find out.
Where did that come from?
Where did that come from? I mean, he is the Bossman, so it makes sense.
But where did it come from?
Where did it come from?
And how did it stick? Sometimes nicknames come up and then they don't. But this one, I think, has been around for a while.
And some nicknames stick that you don't want to stick.
Yeah.
But
we'll find out if this is one of those.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that he likes it because, I think
he's embraced it.
He's embraced it, yeah. So we'll talk to him about that. We'll talk to him about GBATS and his background and everything. Mm-hmm. Always a good person to talk to. Always entertaining.
He's an interesting guy.
Busy week for us, Ashley. It's back to school week. You've got a few young ones, two school age.
I've got a second grader. You guys over here in the States say second grade. I'm used to saying grade 2.
Grade 2.
So I'm getting out of that.
That's how they do it in Canada.
That's how we do it in Canada.
Grade 2. What do you do when you're in high school? Is it still like grade 10, grade 11?
10, grade 11.
So you don't do freshman, sophomore?
No, when I came over here, I was like, I didn't know what a sophomore was, a junior, I had no idea. I still probably couldn't quickly tell you, but if I thought about it. I mean, I know what a senior is and a freshman, and then it goes
sophomores next, and
sophomore,
junior, senior.
Yeah. No,
you're gonna have to figure that. You got a little bit of time.
I got some
since
time.
You have a.
Yeah.
What do you say? A grade 2er? Is that what do you say? A second. You don't say second grader. Then you say a grade 2.
She's going in grade 2.
Going in grade 2.
I don't
so it's
think
not a noun.
Grade 2er, but
yeah. Okay.
Maybe you'd say second grader, but no, I would say like she's going in grade 2.
She's going into grade 2.
And then I have a kindergartner. That's the same.
So the kindergarten is the same.
Kindergarten is the
same. So you have
a
kindergartner. Yeah, a lot of emotion. That's an emotional experience. I've done it twice. No tears shed in either of my experiences with both my kids. They're older now.
Did you shed tears though?
Internally, yes. Externally, no. Thankfully, both of my kids settled in pretty easily.
Well, that's good.
You see the parents. Those are the parents I worry about, and the kids that I worry about. Is you go in there and you can sense some kid they're not digging the situation, and then the tears start, and then then the parents start to get kind of I mean?
Yeah, it's just a mess.
Yeah, I
feel for the teachers.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too. They're great. They know exactly what they're doing. So,
for sure.
Well, no tears maybe this week. Only happy tears. Hopefully,
yes, happy tears.
Bryan Martin, I'm not sure he's caused anybody any sad
tears.
I was trying to make a clever transition there. Anyway, we talked about him here just a moment ago. Bryan, the Bossman Martin, 4-state trucks, Chrome Shop Mafia. GBATS is coming up very soon here, so we've got a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead and get Bryan Martin on the phone right now and see what's going on. Bryan, what are you up to today?
Oh, hey, we're just trying to push these old truck parts out in a rough economy. Other than that, we're pretty much working on our truck show quite a good portion of every day. Like it's 5 weeks out, but there is so much to do.
What does that look like? Because I don't think there aren't too many people out there, who have put on a truck show before. What does that look like?
Oh, there are 300 details that nobody thinks about that all has to be done to make a good participant or attendee experience. And there's just a lot to it. Now, none of it's rocket science, but there's just a lot to it. So we try awful hard to make every upcoming show better than the previous one, and that's kind of a feat.
How many years have you been doing this?
This will be our 13th or 14th.
13th or 14th.
Show.
When you think back to that first show compared of what you knew then to what you know now, what's that look like?
Oh, the biggest thing between then and now is just the amazing desire that truckers have to come to Joplin in September. Like, we went from 30 trucks to almost 800. And I would have never thought 13 shows ago or 10 shows ago or 9 shows ago that we would have that kind of enthusiasm in coming to hang out at our place for a couple of days. But really just the way the drivers have gravitated to it, almost organically, is just very mind-blowing and rewarding.
Yeah, we talk about this from time to time, Ashley and I do, about truck shows. And, I think the cool thing about them is that each one is a little bit different. Obviously, they've got similar components and whatnot. Yours, I think,
it's more unique.
Stands out. Yeah, it really stands out from the rest because it's kind of like, I think I've heard it described as kind of like a block party, for the trucking community. Do you remember like going back, 10 or 12 or 14 shows ago, whatever the number was there? What was the origin? What's the origin story of the show? Like, what were those first conversations like when you were talking with whoever you were talking with about starting this thing? What was the idea?
Funny story is we didn't have an annual show, and really we were so busy doing things we do, we hadn't really devoted any thought to it. Well, that particular year, I can't even remember what year it was, but let's just say it was 2010. I don't know, 2008, 9, or 10. And we were doing a bunch of work for Castrol Motor Oil. Well, of course, Castrol sponsors John Force and all the top fuel funny car racing teams. And they called and said, hey, on this certain Thursday, and I think it was October back then, we're going to be coming right through Joplin, and we would set up all day at your store if you wanted to have a few customers come in and kind of do a customer appreciation day. So we sent out, I think, 33 invites to some guys that we had built their trucks and, that could make it. And every one of them showed up. Well, John Force rolled in with like 9 tractor trailers, unloaded race cars, unloaded a merch tent or a merch booth. And, man, we just had the biggest day, even though it was weird. It was on a Thursday, because they race on weekends.
Yeah.
And we had the bug after that. We're like, oh, my gosh, we're doing this next year. And then that's how GBATS was formed. And we started out as a customer appreciation day on a Thursday. Then I think the second one might have been a customer appreciation Saturday. I can't remember if it was a Friday and Saturday or just a Saturday.
Yeah.
And then that constant, contest with yourself. Like, I want the next GBATS to be bigger, badder, more fun, and have more trucks than the last one. And that's been the fuel that keeps driving us year after year. But that's how it started.
Where the name come from? The Guilty by Association truck show. Was that the name of it from the very beginning?
It was after that Castrol
That
John
first
Force
one.
open house. But with us, obviously being 4-state trucks, that's kind of the business side, the revenue side of our business. And then the Chrome Shop Mafia, that's sort of our community. I mean, that's a little bit our shop. That's many, many customers that we have worked extensively, or in some cases even built their trucks over the last 15 years. And, we got, T-shirts and hats and license plates. So the Chrome Shop Mafia was kind of like our fun community side. And we always tried to put kind of a fun mafia twist on certain things that are outside the scope of just selling parts. Well, it's a customer appreciation weekend, so we put that, hey, if you're here, dude, you're guilty by association. You're part of the Chrome Shop Mafia. And that's kind of the underlying theme of how it came about with the name. And then if you remember, you got MATS. We used to have GATS with Dallas, and then we had the GBATS, which was also kind of a fun driver on the side. So we had the acronym so we could fit in with all the big-time shows.
That worked out well, for sure.
Yeah.
Looking at, Chrome Shop Mafia and 4-state trucks, take me back to the very beginning. When did that start, and how did it start?
Well, Chrome Shop Mafia was probably 2004, 5. We were getting pretty well known at that time for having a custom shop that could do things from really, really wild to mild and everything in between. And we had got in a habit of every winter we would build what we thought was a top-end show truck, And then we'd launch it down at Louisville, at Kentucky. We'd show it all through the spring, summer, and fall, and we would sell it. We'd take that money and do the same thing the following winter. So we were building a high-end show truck every year and debuting it on the show circuit, as well as our shop at that time was building a lot of trucks for people from all over the country. And we were just doing it all as four-state trucks. And we thought, well, car clubs have names and motorcycle clubs have names. We need to think of a name for our truck shop, our truck gang. And actually, a customer was in our paint booth. We were working all weekend to get one painted, and he was just kind of hanging out with us. And he said, "Man, you ought to call it the Chrome Shop Mafia." And there was 3 or 4 of us there, masking this truck off, and we all looked at each other and like, "Dude, that rocks!"
Yeah.
So we did Chrome Shop Mafia, and then Monday I got a hold of our marketing company, which was in Joplin at that time, and I said, "We need a logo," and they in just no time, like 24 hours, they had the Tommy gun logo and said, "What do you think about this?" And we're like, "Done. Let's rock and roll." And that's how the name, the logo, all came about. And then we've obviously used it since that time. And a lot of people think that Chrome Shop Mafia was a result of the Trick My Truck TV show. Chrome Shop Mafia was a few years, 2 or 3 years before Trick My Truck, and then they promoted it during the filming of Trick My Truck. They promoted the Chrome Shop Mafia, which was a great thing. I mean, it was excellent marketing that we could have never afforded as four-state trucks. So it really worked out well.
You brought up obviously Mafia is part of the name. Are you like a fan of like the Mafia, the mob movies? Like where does that kind of, personality or that identity kind of come from?
Oh, I think everybody, some of them are pretty rough, but that was kind of the whole gangster, Al Capone, Scarface. I mean, that's kind of the appeal of it. And we just thought it was cool. I love any shoot 'em up action adventure as much as the next guy and a lot of gals, but we really just picked that. Not that we were like mega passionate, but it just seemed to fit. Everything seemed to fit. We did a series of trucks back in like 2007, and we called them the Pit Boss, the Hitman, so it just seemed like the Mafia motif really, really was fun, and we embraced it and got a lot of mileage out of it and still do today.
Ashley was asking you kind of about, the origin story of four-state trucks and Chrome Shop Mafia. We have to go back, I guess, a little bit further, right? Because this is kind of a family business for you, right? I think is it your father and your great uncle are kind of the ones that started this, right?
It all started back in '79, just as it's a funny story. It actually started as we were an international dealer, which is now Navistar. And they did that, I think, through '84. The economy was horrible. I mean, it's kind of before our time. I mean, I vaguely remember it. I was a teenager. But, I mean, it was bad. It was way worse than 08, 09, 2008, 2009. And they said, hey, we're just, nobody's going to buy a new International at 14 and 15% interest. So they gave the franchise back, and they just started selling used trucks and doing truck repair, like mechanical truck repair. And so I go to diesel school in 85, 86. I come back, go to work for my uncle at Four State Trucks. And we're doing just, brakes and air conditioning work and wheel seals and clutches and stuff like that. And we go a few years. My uncle's in his 70s. He's my great uncle. And he retires. And here I am at 20-something. And I'm kind of like the junior manager of this. At that time, it was probably 8 or 9 employees. We had a parts man, we had a delivery guy, a secretary, and 3 or 4 mechanics. And I was the truck salesman back then. And we kind of ran with that. We added the salvage. We started buying and selling salvage trucks and salvage parts. Did that for a lot of years. And then in about 93, we really embraced chrome and accessories because there was really, chrome shops weren't as popular and frequent back then. So we started carrying some bumpers, some sun visors, a few cabin sleeper panels, and some lights. And man, it just exploded. So we really built a name for ourselves all through the 90s as being the go-to for chrome and accessories and installation. Then we added the customizing and painting aspect to it, and a lot of years go by. We do the Trick My Truck thing, And at that time, my brother and I decided, hey, we really got to get focused. Like, we're trying to do everything. So with much discussion and a lot of heartfelt pondering, we decided to close down the salvage yard, and we would just sell new parts and accessories. We would install new parts, and that's kind of what we would do. And we focused on a website and a call center and things like that, and kind of turned the corner into maybe modernizing our business to meet the shopping habits and needs of trucking, all through the late 90s and 2000s. And today, we got our store, our website, call center, installation, and it's a big undertaking. Now, I tell people I don't run 4-state trucks; it runs me because there's 150, 160 people. We're running trucks and routes, delivering parts all over the Midwest, and we've got other stores in other towns, and it's really fun to see how it's grown over the years and to see all that it is today compared to like 1993 when we went to GBATS for the first time, and got into the whole customizing scene.
Well, that's the thing, too, that I find interesting, and you can speak to this much better than I can, but it does feel like the 90s were kind of a turning point when we're talking about, customization. Obviously, I know people were doing stuff with their trucks before that, but, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it does seem like the 90s is when we started seeing kind of a shift, right, for a lot of folks out there who were thinking, this is my second home, essentially. I can do some really cool stuff with it. And they started exploring that. Was that kind of the turning point? And if so, you kind of hit it at the right time, right?
Man, truer words have never been spoken. All through the 80s and 90s, really, if you had an 18-inch bumper, a stainless drop visor, a set of 6-inch stacks, and you had lights under your cabin sleeper, you were way custom, dude. Like, you were standing out in the crowd. Well, then people got on the bandwagon and they started getting creative and designing new parts and new accessories and wild paint jobs. And it evolved there for 20 years to where if you had a truck in 2000, let's say, and you went to Louisville and you won first, second, or third place in your class, today, if you took that same truck there, people would walk right past it and say, "Where's the truck show? Where's the show trucks?"
Yeah.
Like, it has been elevated, and the creativity and the technology and the skill and the precision and custom show trucks and even everyday work trucks that are nice, just work class show trucks, which is really the bulk of our audience.
Yeah.
The bar has just gotten so high that it's really fun to see what is the norm now would have been show winning in the 2000s. What is just a truck that wheels into our parking lot 10 times a day. That was a show winner in 98 or 2000 or 2003. And it has come a long ways to where it's a bona fide industry now.
Yeah.
Nice working show trucks and even, somewhat professional show trucks. I mean, there's a whole segment of the industry that is what they do.
What do you attribute that to? Is it just kind of it started catching on with the culture? I mean, what kind of drove that, I guess, is a question. You can give yourself a pat on the back. Maybe, maybe I think you were probably a part of that, right?
Well, there was a bunch of us out there that were doing stuff that hadn't been seen before. We did the Outlaw truck, which was really like the absence of chrome. And, we had real bullet holes and black stacks. Like, that was wild. People didn't know how to take it. And a lot of people at that time did not like it. But there was enough people that just thought, man, I can't believe they did that. That is so cool that spread. And there was people all over the country. It certainly wasn't 4-state trucks or the Chrome Shop Mafia, leading the pack on our own. There was 15 guys from coast to coast, top to bottom, doing innovative, cool stuff. That's when lowering trucks, more paint, less chrome, long and low was the motif. And there was just a lot of trends that evolved over that 15, 20-year time span. LED technology, affordability. And then there's a passion, I think, in trucking that doesn't exist in other industries. So the snowball started rolling and built momentum a lot faster in trucking, I think, just because of the brotherhood, the passion, the desire to have your equipment stand out in the crowd against your competitor. You know, if you're a trucking fleet or a truck owner, you want your rig to stand out next to everybody else's. And it pushed the envelope a lot harder, a lot faster, and to a higher level than if we were in the, I don't even know, the Jeep industry or the boat industry. It's just, there's so much passion, and you guys see it. Trucking's generational. Not a lot of people say, hey, well, my dad was a carpenter and my grandpa was a plumber and I'm a trucker. It's usually my grandpa was a trucker, my dad was a trucker, and I'm an owner-operator. I mean, you see a tremendous amount of generational families that are involved in trucking in some way. Maybe they're not owner-operators, but, hey, my dad was a mechanic, my grandpa was a company driver, and now I'm an owner-operator. There's a lot of carryover generation to generation in trucking, and that adds to how passionate everybody is. It's like what we do.
Yeah.
My dad did it.
Yeah.
My family has a deep roots in trucking, and that's what I do.
No doubt. Yeah.
We're talking to Bryan Martin from 4-State Trucks and Chrome Shop Mafia. Bryan, in talking about customization, I mean, you have seen thousands of trucks over the years. Is there one that stands out as being like a favorite?
It's like picking your own child,
I know, it's like
maybe.
picking your favorite child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, there is so many. It seems like about every other year when you go to Louisville, that's like the first big fling of the year, every spring in March at Louisville. And about every other year you go down there, and I could say this for the last 28 years, about every other year you go down there and see something that just blows your mind. And like even us and even other customizers, you go down there and see something like, man, what a brilliant idea. Like, I can't believe we didn't think about that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, there's just tons of them over the career thus far. But for us, I'll kind of limit it to our little house here. The Outlaw truck that we did back in 2005 or 6, when chrome, stainless, lots of lights was what it took to win. And then we did a primered gray, black stacks. All of our chrome or aluminum was like brushed. Like we actually brushed it with steel wool to like knock the shine off of it. The absence of lights. I mean, we had minimal lights, just enough to be legal. And then we shot bullet holes in it. We had a minimalistic interior. It was like black. It was cloth, but it was black and tweed. So it was not luxurious, which was certainly the trend back then. It was more bare bones, kind of like, I don't know, kind of like a Street Fighter, whiskey runner, moonshine runner motif. That was a game changer for us. It made every magazine, got primetime parking, not at our request, but at the show coordinator's request about everywhere we went that year. And me and CB Grimes, we pretty much toured with it. He worked at Chrome Shop Mafia 4-State Trucks for a lot of years until he moved on to a whole new career. But him and I toured with that truck, and it was just an absolute game changer. And I don't know, I kind of lean towards the absence of chrome and accessories. The next one we did that was really memorable is I bought a 359, and I kind of went with a rat rod motif, which the rat rod craze was just taking the car shows by storm. But at that time, and I can't remember what year it was probably 2010 maybe, that you didn't see a lot of them in the truck show segment. And we did kind of a Sanford & Son, multicolored, like built out of a swap meet junkyard, stencil hand-painted name on the door, the rat rod, which I still have to this day, a 359 Peterbilt. It was another one that I enjoyed taking to shows because it was so different. Yeah. Like you'd get people that didn't get it. They'd come up to me and like, like, what are you doing? Is this like a before, and then next year you're going to have the after? Like this is a starter, and then you're gonna customize it, for next year? And I was like, no, it's done. And they'd kind of look at it, and they'd either scratch their head and walk off, like you're an idiot, or they'd scratch their head and then their chin and say, I get it, man, that's cool. But the Rat Rod 359 of ours was another really, really fun one.
That's what makes it so cool, though. You talk about the reactions because, I imagine a lot of the trucks that you do, you're getting positive reactions. But if you look at it, it's almost like a piece of art, right?
Yeah.
It's subjective in a lot of ways, right? Because there are some things you're going to do that people are going to be like, I love that, where there might be other people who are like, not really my thing. I get it, but, keep doing what you're doing, right? That's got to be,
right.
That's kind of, I guess, got to be part of the equation when you're doing stuff, right?
100%. And there is a big challenge among all builders and all truck owners. You want to try to do something fresh that's never been done before, and keep it cool. And not all, hey, we've done a lot of things that we thought, man, this is going to be the next big deal. And they bombed.
Yeah.
They bombed, but, hopefully if you do that 10 times, 6 or 7 of them will stick. And I think that's probably holds true for about any truck builder, whether they're large or small. As you push yourself to do something fresh, and a lot of the industry works on Peterbilts, and a lot of the industry works on 389s and 379s and Kenworth W900s, and these trucks that have been customized, to your point earlier, thousands of times by thousands of people. It's hard to come up with a fresh look or a fresh trend or a fresh component or accessory. But I think most of us are largely driven by that. Some of them hit, some of them don't. Some of them I'm really passionate about. I really think they're awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm in a small circle of friends on some of those parts.
And welcome back to Trucking with OIDA. We are still talking with Bryan, the Bossman Martin of 4 State Trucks and Chrome Shop Mafia. Bryan, I want to follow up on something you were talking about there with that outlaw truck. You talked about putting bullet holes in it. I'm sure you remember what that was like and kind of what led up to it. I guess it's like kind of like talking about your favorite kids. I can't imagine putting bullet holes in that was necessarily an easy kind of feeling. Do you remember thinking, about that situation and maybe we shouldn't do this? What was that whole process like?
I'll never forget about that because when you think about it, you can't shoot the truck fully assembled. You're going to tear up way more
Okay.
than you're going to add this little tiny cool factor, that's about 3/4 of an inch around. So we took off the hood scan, the door scan, the sleeper scan, the fuel tank, and I took them actually home to our farm, and I set them up against a bluff. And I remember, the gun that was handy was one of those Chinese 7.62 Army rifles that, in the 90s, every gun store was selling them for like $179.
Yep.
Everybody I knew had 3 of them. So all of those holes were shot by me on our farm with a Chinese 7.62 rifle. I brought them back in. We riveted them on the hood, changed the door skin, put them on the sleeper, and then on the fuel tank, we actually cut the end out of the fuel tank. And we went in there and we put like a pocket on the hole on the outside, the exposed side of the fuel tank so it wouldn't leak fuel. And then we put a patch where it went all the way through the backside. And then we welded the end back in the tank so that the holes were real on all of these. You could stick your finger in them. They definitely were not a sticker. But actually I could pull the fuel cap and it's full of fuel. Mm-hmm. And then they'd stick their finger in the bullet hole in the fuel tank and like, no way. But there was a lot of thought. Yeah, exactly. Like you can't just pull your Peterbilt out here, next to a junkyard and just shoot holes through it.
Yeah.
It's gonna
that.
Tear up a mountain of stuff. Yeah. Do not try this.
Please don't do that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So anyhow.
You mentioned a couple times the Trick My Truck show. Can you tell me about that and how that all came about?
Yeah, we were showing trucks, like I said. We'd build one in the winter. We'd take it across the country to maybe about 10 shows, 7, 8 shows some years, and we'd show it off. And I was at a show in Reno, Nevada, at the Petro, and they held it in conjunction with the big car show in Reno. And we were out at the truck stop, which is where the truck show was held. And I was visiting with my friend Rod Pickett. He came from Washington State. He had his show truck there. We had ours. And we were at this show, and the rumor goes that the Trick My Truck producers were looking for someone to do Trick My Truck. It was just a concept at that time. They'd never filmed it. And they'd went up and down the California coast looking at largely dealerships and like, this ain't what we're looking for. And they saw an ad in a magazine, probably 10-4, and they said, hey, there's a truck show in Reno. Let's drive over there, and we'll ask some guys, to recommend some custom truck builders. So they came to the show, and about the third person they went to, they said, hey, if you wanted to get a custom truck built, where would you take it? And that driver said, hey, you ought to go talk to those two guys right there. And it was me and Rod Pickett standing in front of his truck, or maybe it was a customer's truck. I'm not even sure. And these guys from country music television walk up, and they said, hey, we're from television, and we want to do a show about custom trucks. Would you guys be interested? And we roll our eyes and yeah, sure.
Yeah, right.
Whatever. Move along. They said, no, listen, we're serious. Come inside the iron skillet, come inside the Petro here in an hour, and we want to give you our sales pitch. So we did that, and we listened to them, and we said, well, yeah, it seems like you're legit. Let's give it a try. So we left that show, and in 48 hours, they almost beat me back to Joplin. They were here and did a little B-roll, they filmed myself, our building, some of our crew. That's where they found Scrapyard. They found Scrapyard during that film. They flew directly to Marysville, Washington, and they filmed Rod and Kevin Pickett and some B-roll. And then they showed that to the higher-ups at CMT. Weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks go by. We don't hear anything. And so we figured, well, that was a pipe dream. And then they call and hey, CMT likes it. They want to do a pilot episode. So we do a pilot episode, and they edit that, and they send it to CMT. Same way. 3 or 4 months goes by. We don't hear anything, and we think, well, they didn't like it.
Yeah.
Then you get that phone call hey, they love it. They want to do 7 more episodes. And
wow.
That's literally how it started. We were not looking for them. They had never heard about us, but we were at a show where they spontaneously came to find a custom truck builder, and it just kind of started organically in that way. And then we did 4 seasons, 41 episodes before we opted to quit at the end of season 4. And then I think they did a season 5 and a season 6 with some other builders.
That had to be huge for your business.
It was great because at that time, nobody in trucking, and maybe still to this day, is advertising on mainstream national TV.
Right.
I mean, our industry just doesn't do that level of advertising. Well, we were a Friday night, 8 p.m. primetime television show for a lot of seasons, and it was great for all the staff that was featured on the show. And it was really great for Chrome Shop Mafia and 4-State Trucks because we put our brand out there, religiously. I mean, that was a requirement. If Bryan Martin's going to be involved, I want to grow our business. That's why I'm working. And they did that, and it worked out great. The other thing it did, which is far more impactful, it brought Class 8 big rig trucks back to prime time, and you got men, women, boys, and girls all gathered around the TV watching this show about trucks and trucking, and it kind of put us back in the spotlight again because you got to go back to B.J. McKay, BJ and the Bear, and then there's this long 10, 12-year dry spell, and then here comes Trick My Truck, which was awesome, and then here comes I think there was American Trucker, Ice Road Truckers.
Yep.
Wrecked. It kind of started that whole hunger by the American TV viewer of all walks of life. They're kind of interested in big rigs again because we were out. We actually had a negative connotation probably by most of the country. And this,
really?
in a trucking. I don't know. It just seemed like truckers and trucking and truck stops were not. I don't know. We just weren't favored by mainstream America.
Yeah.
But once they see the hardships of the road and spending weeks away from family and breakdowns and the cost of equipment and hauling freight and loading and unloading, it kind of brought an awareness back to most of America. Like, man, this is a tough job. These guys sacrifice. Like, it's not just, all glimmer and glam in a nice show truck. Like, they don't see their family for 7-8 days at a time. They get hung out at a load and it wasn't there when they got there. They go to the shop broke down and it cost them $7,000 or $8,000 to get out of the shop. That wasn't expected. It just kind of made them aware and intrigued on what a trucker goes through. And I think that, to me, that was one of the cool things. It put trucking back in prime time and kind of re-whet everybody's appetite. Like, I want to watch a trucking show, and learn more about it. So that was really cool too.
Penske is the trusted source for quality used trucks. Whether you search our website, call our sales staff, or bid at our online auction, you are sure to find the right used truck for your business. Visit PenskeUsedTrucks.com to view our inventory and learn more.
High heat and low lubricity can break your diesel fuel down fast. Summer driving means crowded roads, more stress, dust, and a bigger risk of costly engine damage. Howe's Diesel Defender protects from the inside out, cleaning, lubricating, and fighting injector wear. Visit HowsProducts.com.
Are you tired of the IRS following you around like a dark cloud? Call 888-557-4020 and get your life back.
At Truck Stop, we built a better load board for carriers like you. Sign up today and access over 600,000 loads on the most trusted online load board. Learn why the best in the business rely on Truck Stop to make more money and start driving your profit today.
And we're still speaking with Bryan Bossman Martin of 4-State Trucks and Chrome Shop Mafia. Bryan, I mentioned just there your nickname. How did it come about? I think I have an idea of how it came about, but how did you become the Bossman?
Now, this is funny. Now, I have to give this to Trick My Truck. So everybody just called me Bryan, pre-Trick My Truck. And when they did the pilot episode, they said Bryan Martin as the Don, D-O-N, like
Mafia,
Godfather 1, Godfather 1.
Right.
And I was like, man, like, that's obscure. Like, that's finite, man. And so I just said, you got to do something different.
Yeah.
And they came up with the Bossman, and it completely stuck. Like, half of my family calls me Bossman now.
Yeah.
Like, my nieces and nephews and some of my kinfolk call me that. Almost every customer, and I don't know. I answer to it now without even thinking about it. But that actually was an attribute of Trick My Truck. So there you go.
Do you
That's
like
how
it?
That happened.
Do you like the nickname? You like it better than the Dawn?
I don't even think about
I guess.
it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes, way better than the Dawn. But it just sticks, and I guess it's fitting. It works for me, and I've got no qualms with it. I'll say that.
You we'll continue to call you the Bossman then.
Okay.
Yeah, it works, right? You were talking a while ago, just a little bit ago, about trucking being a generational thing. And obviously you grew up in a family that had the background there. Do you remember growing up, was it something that always appealed to you? Do you remember a specific moment where you thought, man, this trucking thing's pretty cool. I'm interested in kind of continuing on with it. What were those early memories like, and when did it kind of hit you like, hey, I think this is my thing?
The story I will tell you, you could probably apply to 70% of owner-operators today when they were kids. Like, it's as far back as I can remember, really remember details. So let's say 7 or 8. All I wanted to do was be around the trucks. My dad ran a truck stop. My grandpa was a trucker. My uncle was a mechanic. My great uncle, obviously, ran a truck parts repair and sales. Like, I didn't care what I did, as long as it was around trucks. I always in my heart wanted to be a driver. And for years and years, a decade, I hauled all of our salvage. When we bought a wrecked truck, whether it was in Texas or Nebraska or Iowa or wherever, I would go out and get it, winch it on the trailer, and bring it to Joplin. So I kind of got that fix during my career, and I still do some driving today on the farm and a little bit. Not as much as I would like to because of the demands of 4-State, but I still thoroughly enjoy driving. But I really didn't care what I did as long as I was around trucks. And I kind of gravitated as I grew up, helping my dad's crew change oil, change tires. Your weekends are all spent servicing trucks so they can go back to work on Monday.
Yeah.
I kind of landed on the mechanic side, and I really enjoyed that. I don't mind mechanicking. I really like all the frame and chassis work, more so than like deep inner engine, deep transmission, and all that. I really kind of just like the chassis, suspension, stretching frames, and all that kind of thing. But, I didn't care if I was a truck owner, a mechanic, or a driver. I just wanted to be around them. And, I'm very blessed to where I got to do a little bit of all of that and stay close to the trucking industry and actually influence a few things over my 30-some-year career, which has been super cool. But I'm just all things truck, and I really didn't care what it was. I wanted to be a part of it. And I think most guys I talked to, they grew the same. They were riding with their dad or riding with their uncle, and they were shifting gears and holding the steering wheel at 12 and 13 years old, and we all could kind of share the same story. And then you just want to be around them and around people that are truckers, and it just, I don't know how to explain it. When you get the bug, it's just that's what it's going to be.
There was never
not a lot of people I know, trucked for 7 years and then decided to be a, bricklayer.
Yeah.
Once you get it, you kind of stick with it to the end. It seems like, I'm going to say that's probably 85-90% of the people I ran across.
Yeah, I think you're right. When we first called you up, Bryan, you were talking about how busy you were planning for GBATS. I feel like every time we talk to you, I don't know if you're the busiest man, in America. I think you're probably one of the busiest people, but you're doing what you love, right? I mean, you're working, and it really is the thing that you love doing, which really, as you said, is a blessing. But how busy are you? I mean, you're pretty much like sun up to sundown, right? Or even beyond that, I guess.
My brother and I, Bryce, which we run 4-state, and we definitely start in the dark. Like we're 5 to 6 a.m. guys every morning, and then we work till the job is done. And then I do a lot of work at home, like kind of in the recliner as I'm watching TV, like getting ready for the next day or week.
Yeah.
He actually comes in super early and does his, but we're totally driven by we want one more satisfied customer tomorrow than we had today. We want to touch more people, next month with our business than we did last month. And, we want to grow. We're not a status quo people like, hey, this is what we do. We're content. We're just going to do this until we ride off in the sunset. We want to grow our staff. We want to grow our stores. We want to grow our products and services where it makes sense. We have been guilty in the years past of trying to do too many things, and we weren't doing enough things well. We did finally grow up and learn that lesson to where we're kind of staying in our lane as best we can. But I think we're driven by ourselves to do better tomorrow than yesterday, and we constantly want to grow and build a better, faster, leaner, meaner machine. It's just an internal drive that a lot of people have. Hey, a lot of people don't, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
The guy that wants to work 45 hours and go home and not worry about it on weekends, kudos, man. I envy that guy some days.
I was going to say, that's not really an option for you, is it? Your brain doesn't work like that. Yeah.
But it's what we chose, and hey, it has been rewarding. We're the ones signing the checks, and we have a lot of great things that we enjoy because of that. But it does take a lot of hours and a lot of commitment. But that's true to a lot of people, and small business to large business across the board. But it's what we signed up for, and it has been good to us. I mean, 4-state Trucks has really, really grown over the 25, 35, 40 years of its existence to levels we never thought possible. So, my dad would probably not believe it if he was here today. My granddad certainly would have no concept of what it's grown into. But yeah, like I said earlier, we don't really run 4-state. It runs us, and there's a lot of truth to that, but we've got enough experience now to where we kind of deal with it and navigate through it and power on through to the next work day.
What's, would you say, the best part of your job, your absolute favorite thing is to do?
Oh, I really enjoy Louisville and GBATS And I don't do as much truck show traveling as I used to, but I do like going out to the shows, especially the grassroots show, the fairground shows, kind of like GBATS, maybe more so than Kentucky, and really just conversating with people. I really enjoy that. I think through the early decades of my career, I was so focused that I never truly took time to listen. And a lot of people probably picked up on that. I was listening, but I was thinking about what I needed to be doing. And I have a bad habit of that. I've kind of got to the age now where I've outgrown that, and I can focus and really, foster friendships and compare notes and spitball ideas and tell old stories and not be as hurried as I used to. I'm getting to where I enjoy that more and more, is just the conversational, relational side of things, more than maybe the pure business and sales side of it. So I don't know, those atmospheres where it's conducive to slowing down and conversating, I really do enjoy that. And now we're not as trend-setting as we used to be, just because we sell parts now. We don't solely focus on customizing trucks. I love seeing what other builders and the next genre of customizers is doing, because it is crazy impressive. I mean, just the level of detail, the level of skill, the level of tech. Now electronics and engineering and geometry is coming into some of these upgrades and these custom trucks that they're building. I really like to see that from a spectator side more than a fabricator side, and it's kind of rewarding to see that, because they've surpassed what we did back in the day. I enjoy that a lot too.
Yeah. Well, again, that's got to be gratifying too, and fun to see all of these new things that are popping up too. Hey, Bryan, you talked about GBATS. We talked about it a little bit, and you've been very generous with your time here. Just want to make sure we do our due diligence on this. So it runs for 3 days starting September 25th. You are busy getting ready for the show. Can you just kind of give us an idea of what we can expect this year? Is there anything new? What are you looking forward to?
Well, in 2023, because we have our show every other year. I don't know if you realize that. After the 10th annual, we've kind of moved to an every other year, because it's such an undertaking. It's a county fair. It's not much short of a small county fair. So we park trucks all day Wednesday, register and park trucks. We park trucks all day Thursday, and then we cut off truck registration for those that want to enter Friday at noon. Now, it's a no-cost show. There's no cost to enter your truck, and you're going to get a goodie bag, a commemorative plaque, meal tickets, VIP seating at all the events. It's really a customer appreciation event. Whether you're a current customer or you've never been here and you want to be a customer someday, come up here and spend the weekend with us, and we're going to try our best to win you over in a weekend. But Thursday night, we're going to have the Demo Derby. It's a lot of fun, and that's Thursday night. Friday, we're going to have stuff going on all day long. And the great thing about GBATS and what my mission was from day one, there's a lot of great shows out there, and especially back in the day, that have things that truck owners like to do. There was virtually nothing, and I mean nothing, for the wife, the nephew, the kids, the granddad to do. So we have stuff going on all day long, big rig burnouts, all kinds of booths and exhibits and showings and things all day long on Friday and Saturday. So there's stuff for the whole family. And then you get to Friday night, we're going to have a motocross stunt show where they're doing the mile high, full flips, everything like that. We got a quad, a four-wheeler this year, and there's not many people in the world that can do full 360-degree flips midair on a quad. So I'm really excited to see that. That'll be new for this year. Then we have the pro pulling team here. We're going to have pickups, tractors, and semis, a big truck and tractor pull on Friday night. We're going to cap that off with fireworks that would rival some city 4th of July fireworks. You get into Saturday, big rig burnouts, food trucks, all kinds of stuff going on for the kids that day. Then you get into really the the entity that really gave GBATS a purpose many years ago, we signed up with Special Olympics to where they can host their world's largest convoy for Joplin, Missouri. That event is held in conjunction with GBATS. I mean, what a perfect mesh. You know, you got 600 or 700, 800 trucks here, and it's a fundraiser for Special Olympics. So really proud at the way our truckers come out and support both financially and in participation in the world's largest convoy for Special Olympics. We have been many years, not every year, but either the record-holding number of trucks for Special Olympics, and several years we've got the largest donation revenue-wise for the Special Olympics convoy. Yeah. So we'll see what this year holds. But we'll get into our awards ceremony. Then we'll do our Special Olympics convoy where usually about 400, 500 trucks will leave this exit, and we'll all journey through town with people lining the sidewalk, you know, watching the trucks go by. And we'll park downtown 4 wide. We take over a big 5-lane street, and we'll park all the convoy trucks down there. We'll have our Truckers Light Show. And then we'll have big-time music entertainment. We've got Chad Cook Band from Houston opening up for Colin Ray. I mean, you know all of his songs from the 90s. And then we'll wrap up the show Saturday night, kind of in downtown Joplin under the street lights with 2 city parks either side of that 5-lane street. And then, you know, it's over till 2027.
I was going to say,
once we get through Colin, once we get Colin Ray off the stage, boys, that's it until 2 years from now.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of the best truck shows around, if not the best. I will be down there, so I look forward to everything you just kind of laid out there. But
another quick, cool aspect is, you know, we teamed up with OOIDA out of Grain Valley many years ago. They came to us and they said, hey, we're having a show in Kansas, at Kansas City, and you're having a show in Joplin. Let's just team up. And it has been so much fun. They have brought so much to the show that otherwise we couldn't have done or wouldn't have thought of. So having Special Olympics as a charity and then having OOIDA as a great partner for a lot of years running has really been a cool thing to have a Guilty by Association truck show.
Absolutely. Hey, Bryan, you've been so generous with your time. We know you're super busy leading up to the show. Looking forward to it starting September 25th. And if people want more information, they can go to your website, which is?
Go to chromeshopmafia.com. Just click on the truck show there, and it has the FAQ. It has everything you would ever need to know or want to know about GBATS. So chromeshopmafia.com, or you can get the 4 State Trucks app on the App Store and just click on Truck Show. They both go to the same place, but there is a ton of good information on there that'll save you from wondering what's coming up.
There it is. Bryan, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Really enjoyed talking with you.
My pleasure. It was fun, y'all. Call me anytime.
What a great guy to talk to.
Love it. Yes. We found out why he's called the Bossman, too.
Yeah, now we know.
Not the Don.
And he likes it.
He likes it better than the Don, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. As I said, I'll be down there in about a month or so in Joplin, Missouri for GBATS, 3 days starting September 25th. You have been?
I have been. It's a fun show. Like, it's so fun.
Yeah, I've been before. It's been 4 years, though, since I've been. So I'm looking forward to all the new fun stuff. It's always a great crowd.
I don't know if he described it or you described it like a block party. It really is. Like, everybody's sitting around. It's such a good time for conversation.
People have been friends
and there's a ton of stuff going on.
Years and decades. So there it is, September 25th, GBATS. We're back later this week with another program. We'll see you then right here on Trucking with OOIDA. Today's episode of Trucking with OOIDA was brought to you by a dedicated team of people that includes Jim Fetzer, Keegan White, Tennille Flick, and Kim Boren.
Got thoughts? We'd love to hear them. Call us at 1-800-324-6856 and leave us a message. Or you can send us an email to podcast@ooida.com and we might include it on the show.